Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you what is interface and how to use interface in C sharp. So let's see what is interface. An interface contains definitions for a group of related functionalities that a class or a struct can implement. So in a way, using interfaces, we can invoke functions from different classes through the same interface reference, whereas using virtual function, we can invoke functions from different classes in a same interface hierarchy through the same reference. So let's see how we can define interface in C sharp and how we can use interfaces in C sharp. So for the definition of interface, how to define interface? Interface you can define with a keyword interface and then the name of the interface. I always like to declare the definition of the interface or name of the interface by starting with the capital I so that I know that it's an interface. And for example, I want to define an interface for meters. Okay, and then I just close my definition from here using these curly braces. Okay, and so let's see what are the properties of interface. This is how you can define interface, but how we can use members in the interface, let's see. So the first thing is, for example, I define int a in interface. Will it work? Let's compile our program and let's see if it's possible or not. So I will just run this or start debugging this, and I will see an error. There is error and I will say no. And it says interface cannot have fields. That means you cannot have fields like int a or bool something, bool x or double. So you cannot have fields in interface. You can only have methods in interface. So let's define a method in interface. So for example, I want to define a method called public void print. So I have defined this method in interface. This should be public. And then also when I compile this, let's see what happens. I'll run this and I will say no. And this time also I get an error. So I define a method and then also it gives me an error. And what it says, the modify public is not valid for this item. That means you cannot initialize the member methods or members of interface with a access modifier. So you just need to declare the method in the interface like this. Okay, and now when you compile this or now when you run it, it will work fine. Okay, now for example, you want to give any definition to your method in the inside interface. Can we do this? For example, I want to print something. Console dot write line, and I want to print something here. So I will just write print. Is it valid? Let's see. We will run the program and it says error. And what's the error? Interface member cannot have definition. So you can only define the prototype of a method inside interface, and you cannot define the definition of the method inside interface. So interface just contains the prototyping of method or prototypes of method. Okay, now how we can use these interface. So for example, I will define a class meter, and so this class I define, and I will close these curly braces. And how we can use this print method, or how we can give the definition of the print method, we can just inherit from interface. So this I meter, or this meter will inherit from this interface like this. So how to define an inheritance of this interface? You can just write like this, colon, and then I meter. Okay, and then you can just give the definition of this method. And now let's see, I have the same prototype and the definition, and here I want to give some console line, right line. Will it be valid? Let's see. So for example, something I want to write here. Okay, and when I run the program, it still shows me error. Why? Because it's saying that this method does not have a interface member definition. So I have told you that interface definition or interface prototyping does not have access specifier, but when you provide the definition to the interface method, you need to specify the specifier, public specifier or member specifier. And by default, all interface members are public method. Okay, so just remember this. By default, all interface members are public. Okay, so just write public, and when I run this, it will run fine. Okay, because I'm not using this class in my main, so it will not print anything, but it doesn't give me any error. So that means I'm on the right path. So this is how you can define the prototype of interface and how you can inherit from the interface. And now you can just define, for example, meter object, meter met is equal to new meter, and I can use this object to print or to use the print method. Okay, so you see I have the access to this print method, and I can just print like this, run the program, and it prints whatever I want to print. Okay, so this is how you can define interfaces. Let's see if we have two interfaces at a time. Interface I meter 1 and I meter 2, for example. Can I inherit from both of them in a same class? Let's see if we can do it. Meter interface 1, meter 1, comma, meter 2. So yes, I can inherit from multiple interfaces in a same class. Okay, now for example, this meter 1 has method print 1 and this meter 2 has method print 2. So I can just define two methods inside my class, print 1 and print 2, and I can say this is print meter 1 and the other is print meter 2. Okay, and so I can do multiple inheritance, or I can inherit from multiple interfaces in my derived class, and I can use these method like this. So in the using the object, I can print 1, I can use print 1 and even print 2 also. And when I run the program, both will run fine. Print meter 1, print meter 2. So that means I can inherit from multiple interfaces. But in the last video, I think, or in the earlier videos, I have shown you, you cannot inherit from multiple base classes in your derived class. So if I say that you have one more class meter some class, okay, can you inherit from this and this in your example one? Let's see. Meter comma second class, okay, it will not be valid. Okay, so you cannot inherit from multiple base classes or multiple classes, but you can inherit from multiple interfaces. Okay, so just remember this fact. Now the question is, can we define the object of an interface? So for example, I will delete this class from here, which I have used for the demonstration. So for example, I want to create the object of this meter one interface. Can I do this? Let's see. I meter one is equal to new I meter one. Okay. So when I do this, as soon as I do this, I get an error, and it shows an error cannot create an instance of abstract class or interface. Okay. So it's logical also, because your interface only contains definition, but the implementation, when you create an object and when you want to use this print one, you cannot find the implementation or definition of this print one only by using this imeter, right? But what you can do is you can create a reference to interface which points to the object of your derived class. So you can do it like this: I meter 1, and whatever you want to give the name, is equal to new meter. This is a class which is inheriting from meter 1, and here you have the definition of the member method of this meter one also. Okay, so you can create an object which can point to the you can create a reference which points to the object of your derived class, and you can use the method like this also. So met dot, you can see print one, you can easily find this print one and you can print it. Okay, but you cannot access print 2 here, right? Because print 2 is a part of imeter 2 interface, and it's not a part of this imeter 1. Okay, so only print 1 is available for the use, right? And you can do the the same for the meter 2 object also, or meter 2 reference also. You can use meter 2 met is equal to new meter, but this method will be print 2 because meter 2 only have the prototype for print 2, and it will work fine here. Okay, now can we define same prototype in two different interfaces? For example, I have I meter 1, I meter 2. I want to have only print method in meter 1 and meter 2 also in both the method. Okay, so this method and this method are same in both the interfaces, and this meter is inheriting from those uh, two interfaces, and I delete this method definition also. So I have meter1 which has the member method print. I also have interface meter2 which have the member method print to same method, and I inherit from those two interfaces in my meter class, and I provide the definition of this print. So can I do something like this? So I can define interface meter1 met1, and I will define interface for meter2 met2, which points to the object of this meter class. And can we use this print in both cases? Met1 dot print, and here met2 dot print. Okay, and when you do it, it's completely valid. When you run the program, you will see print meter1 and print meter1 two times, right? So you can have the same method name in two interfaces, and you can give a same, or you can define one definition for both the method in your derived class, and you can use it like this also. So this is how you can define interfaces, and this is some of the rules how to use interfaces in C++. So let's do some revision. How to define interfaces? Interfaces cannot contain fields. I have shown you it cannot contain fields like int a or double a or string or something. It only have methods. Okay. Then the second rule is interface member cannot have definition. Okay. So you cannot give the definition of the method inside interface. Okay. By default, all interface members are public. So you don't need to explicitly define that it's a public method, right? You see here, we haven't defined here public. It's just void print. But when you define the implementation of this method from the interface, you need to give the public specifier or public modifier here, access modifier, I beg your pardon. So you need, whenever you give the definition of the member of the interface, you need to give access specifier here, right? And the last is a class can inherit from multiple interfaces. You can see here, we can inherit from multiple interfaces. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.